peace and realize their highest potential. Coming from an engineering background and with decades of experience in the field of spirituality, his teachings seamlessly blend the timeless wisdom of ancient traditions with practical solutions to the complexities of modern life. In addition to his role as a spiritual teacher, he holds prominent leadership positions as the Secretary of ISKCON Nepal and the GBC Zonal Secretary of ISKCON Thailand, where he continues to expand his mission of fostering spiritual well-being and community development. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So it's my pleasure to be among all of you in front of Radha Syam Sundar in ISKCON Adelaide. And I'm pretty surprised to see such a wonderful group of devotees, the number of devotees. It's very inspiring. So today we're going to talk about the power of association, or we can say the importance of devotee association. What happens? What happens when you come to this ISKCON temple? What happens to you? So we'll try to discuss on that. And we'll start with a bhajan from Narottam Das Thakur called Je Anilo Premadana. So if someone can put that bhajan up there, those who are new can also sing along with us. And this bhajan is telling us the importance of Vaishnavas. Narottam Das Thakur, who is like exalted devotee, who is seeking for the association of each and every devotees who are senior, who are equal, and who are junior to him. So he's hankering for the association. So we'll sing this bhajan and then we'll continue the discussion. Hare Krishna. can read the translation for this bhajan. Narottam Das Thakur says, "He who brought the treasure of divine love and who was filled with compassion and mercy, where has such a personality as Advaita Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishna Das Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottam Das simply weeps." Right? So generally we have this misconception of singing this bhajan in ISKCON when a Vaishnava leaves the planet, remembering that Vaishnava. So this is our misfortune, that we start valuing people when they leave. When they are no more with us, we start like to understand their values and then we remember them, right? But generally, Vaishnava association, when they are there, we are supposed to take the full advantage of like associating with them. So this bhajan is very beautiful. Narottam Das Thakur is seeking the association of all these, like he named so many devotees there, exalted devotees, no matter of their hierarchy or positions or anything. Narottam Das Thakur is like hankering for them, for their association. And not only that, he's weeping. Right? Weeping means crying, longing, crying, as if like a child is like longing for a lollipop, like a chocolate or something. Please, please, mommy, I want to have it, like that. So it's very beautiful. So, what is devotee association? Of course, according to Nectar of Instruction, right, text 2 and text 3, there is explanation by Rupa Goswami about like what we are not supposed to do. What we are not supposed to do. So in Nectar of Instruction text 2, he says, "Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagaha janasangyastalolamcha sadvir bhaktir vinashyati." So the 6 activities which is hampering the progress in bhakti are, number 1, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. That's atyahara. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Right? That's number 2. Number 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. Number 4, practicing the spiritual rules and regulations only for the sake of following them, and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations for the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. That's rule the thing which is hampering the bhakti. Number 4. Number 5 is associating with a worldly minded person who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for the mundane achievement. Right? So these are the 6 things he is like warning us. Right? I'll again repeat in Sanskrit. It's like prayas atyahara means like over collecting things. Prayasascha means over endeavoring. Right? Prajalpo, talking about unnecessary things in life. Right? What if the world goes upside down? Right? Or I always give like one funny example of a buffalo. How many of you have buffalo at home? You have, right? For those who doesn't have, what if your buffalo dies? What will you do? Right? For those who doesn't have buffalo at home, what will you do if your buffalo dies? Right? In first place, there is no buffalo, isn't it? And you're so worried. What if my buffalo dies, which I don't have? Yeah, that's something like prajalpa. That's prajalpa. Like in our life, so many things which are not real, which are just temporary. We are so much attached to those things. right? And then we're crying. And niyamagraha means like two things. One is following the rules for the sake of following, and another is absolutely not following. These are useless. Anybody who has like progressed anyway, like that. So niyam agraha and niyam agraha, and like Sanskrit is like very funny and it's very interesting. Janasangascha, right? Now janasangascha means associating with the wrong people, worldly attached people. Now worldly attached people means? Yeah, materialistic. Materialistic means? He did like this. So what are we supposed to understand? Yeah, people who are interested in, let's not say material, bodily platform. Bodily platform. I think I should buy a nice shampoo. Well, I don't need it. Yeah? I don't need it, but for those who have long hairs, let me buy like most expensive shampoo, with like really nice fragrance and all these kind of things. Or let me have like really, really nice food. I'll enjoy the food like anything, which doesn't last more than 15 minutes anyway, right? Or let me buy a wonderful cloth, which will cost like so many dollars, so much of dollars. All these kind of things, right? So anything to do with bodily platform. And of course, it also extends about me and mine. What about my children? They should go to the best school. They should get the best education. They should become, well, devotees sometimes, we think. Like that, I mean, those are the materialistic people who are like really, really attached to the bodily platform of life, right? To associate with that, those kind of people also like stops us from advancing in Krishna consciousness. And the sixth one is called laulyam. So much of greed towards like the worldly things, right? Too much of greed, right? So this is the slok number 2, and then slok number 3 talks about what are the 6 things which are like really, really good for devotion. And it says utsaha nischaya dhairya tat karma pravartana sangatyagat sato vritte sadvir bhakti vinashyati. Sadvir bhakti prasiddhati, right? Now here Rupa Goswami talks about 6 things which are really, really good for devotional service. Number 1, being enthusiastic. Let me go to ISKCON. Let me go to temple, even though I'm not going to see Krishna. Right? We see Krishna in the form of deities, but then we don't see Krishna face to face. Right? So even I know that going to temple is just an act, which is not really fruitful in the beginning. Still, I should have enthusiasm to go there and then associate with the devotees, hear some Krishna Katha. Number 2, endeavoring with confidence. Right? We should have confidence. Oh, Krishna is there, God is there, one day I'm going to see Him for sure. Right? I have tried everything in this world. I try to enjoy everything in this world. But then now I'm fed up. The only desire I have is to see Krishna live. Right? Like we are talking now, face to face, live. What does it feel to talk with Krishna face to face? Okay, in the deity form, fine. I'm talking to Krishna and Krishna is smiling and like a statue and then not moving. That is fine, but then I want to see Krishna moving, talking, expressing. Let me hear it. In fact, even now Krishna is reciprocating to us. But it's our misfortune that we are not pure enough to see that Krishna is reciprocating. For us, Krishna is just like a marble deities. Right? So like that, even Prabhupada, he would talk to you, even now. But then it's our misfortune that we are not pure enough to see them reciprocating with us. Right? So, number 3, being patient. It takes time. Prabhupada would always say that spiritual advancement is a gradual process. It's a gradual process. It's not an overnight thing. Right? But then, yes, unless and until like Krishna is interested in us, and he would give like immense amount of like mercy. It is possible, even one moment, we can become fully Krishna conscious and attain the prema of Krishna. For example, Putana. Putana comes from demon background, right? She has no interest in Krishna, not at all. In fact, she came to kill Krishna, right? Trying to assist Kamsa. So when Kamsa ordered like Putana to go and kill Krishna, Putana said, wow, I will do that and make Kamsa happy. So she took like form of a demigod, beautiful lady, right? But her breast poisoned, and she was thinking, I'll breast milk the Krishna and then kill him by feeding the poison, administering the poison in his mouth. But then somehow, just before like she would try to take Krishna in her arms, you know, she looked at Krishna and said, wow, what a beautiful child. What a cute child. I wish I have got a child like this. I wish to become a mother of a child like such a beautiful Krishna. Just that thought, and then Krishna said, okay, I can do that. But that confirmation was coming from whose side? Krishna's side. Putana didn't have any kind of desire to become a devotee of Krishna. But then Krishna took it very seriously, and then Krishna took Putana immediately. He killed her, the body of a demon, and purified her, and took her back to Goloka Vrindavan and made one of his Vatsalya Ras, means like one of the parents, right? One of the guardians in Goloka Vrindavan. Such a fortune of Putana. So of course, like yes, with the mercy of Krishna, it can happen within a fraction of seconds, right? But then, of course, like we don't know when God is going to show us that mercy, isn't it? Right? And then number 4, acting according to the regulative principles, such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. There are 9 different types of processes of bhakti which are supposed to do with Krishna. Right? So when we follow that, that is also like very conducive for our bhakti. Number 5, abandoning the association of non-devotee. Right? Again, he's talking about what not to do. Before he is saying what to do, what not to do is associate with the devotees. What to do is reject the association of non-devotees. And number 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Right? When we have like Guru Parampara, and we are not doing many things whimsically. We don't. Right? If we want to advance in bhakti, we have to make sure that we follow each and everything according to our predecessors, right? Our acharyas. So these are the 6 things. But then, why am I bringing these 2 slokas? Is because the same 2 things are repeated in both slokas. Right? So Rupa Goswami is saying we have to avoid the association of non-devotees. And what we are supposed to do is to reject the association and not to associate with. Right? 2 times he is like mentioning. That's why this association thing is very important. What is the science behind it? In the modern world, you can see they are trying the best to find out so many things on the part of what we have already learned in spirituality. Right? For example, quantum physics, which is dealing with the science, which talks about electrons, right? Going down to the minute level of electron. You know, they're studying what is electron. Now, going beyond electron, they found quarks. Even beyond quarks, they found Higgs boson. For the first time, science used the phrase called the God particle. Right? So they are finding out so many things. But then, amazingly, they repeated one experiment called double-slit experiment, which was devised by the scientist called Young in 70s, 80s. Right? So they repeated the experiment. That double-slit thing, of course, I'm not going to discuss everything about that. It's too technical. Most of us, we might find it like boring. So that double-slit experiment is to find out whether the element is matter or wave. What is that? Matter or wave? So many times the scientists, they had disagreements or controversial thing that somebody says that electron is matter and some says that electron is wave. Right? And then there was always like this dispute between the scientists. And then with this double slit experiment, they found electron sometimes acts like a matter and sometimes acts like a wave. Very strange. When nobody is observing the electron, the movement of electron acts like a wave. But if anybody is observing the electron, it acts like a matter. Now, quantum physics is saying electron has consciousness. Now, if electron has consciousness, that minor thing has consciousness, we have trillions and trillions of like atoms in our body, so we are full of consciousness. So they are concluding, whatever consciousness we have, we see the world accordingly. Right? So there's a sloka, there's a sutra in Veda, it says, Atmavat manyate jagat. Atmavat means the body which is possessed by the soul, right? Manyate, through the mind, right? Jagat means creates the world. Right? So it's our consciousness which creates the world. Right? Now, some of the scientists, like in Japan and then in Germany, they did experiment with water. Right? There's one scientist who called Emoto, I forgot the first name, but then his Emoto, who did the experiment on water. He is talking to the water. He's expressing his feelings to the water. First sample of water he took, and then he expressed that, oh, water, you are so good. You are our life. With you, life is possible. Without you, nothing is possible. No life is possible. So thank you. So he made crystal out of it, out of that water, which he glorified, and then wonderful, beautiful crystals were formed. Right? And he observed in the microscope. Then he took another sample of water, right? He started scolding the water. You bad water, and then using all the bad words, you know. And then he tried to make crystals out of that water. The crystals didn't form. So amazed, he repeated this experiment thousands of times, thinking that, is it by chance? The crystal is not made. But then amazingly, each and every repetition of the experiment gave the same result. So he did lots of experiments. He did experiment on music, with the classical music, pop music, rock music, jazz music, heavy metal, thrash metal. How many of you listen to thrash metal? Oh, yeah, some of us. Ooh, I would say I love heavy metal, but then I used to love heavy metal, not anymore. But then thrash metal I would consider not as a song, it's a noise. It's simply a noise. So when he played thrash metals, heavy metals to the water, the crystals were not formed. But when he played like classical music and all the beautiful crystals, he tried making crystals with mantras. Right, the Buddhist mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Rama. He played and then made beautiful crystals out of it. Right? Now, why am I saying this? Our body is made up of how many percentage of water? Right? 70%? 75%? Can you imagine? My body is 70-75% water. And whatever your thought, whatever your speech, when you express to me, when you direct towards me, that is affecting the whole water in my body. Are you getting it? Right? It looks like, we're just like speaking, we're just like associating, I'm just with this person, so what? No. The vibe, the vibration, the feeling, the thinking, the words, right? Everything coming out of the person who is next to me is affecting my body to a very deep level. Right? So this is what it means by association. To say in a scientific terms. Alright, now coming back, of course, like, I mean, in our tradition, we also say in Hindi, Jaisa Sang Vesaram, right? Somebody said, I forgot, is it like Chanakya or somebody? Tell me 5% you associate with and I'll tell about you. Right? So this is very true. So when coming back to like devotional service, right, associating with devotees is equivalent to associating with Lord Krishna. Right? When we associate with devotees, it's equivalent to associating with Krishna. Because Krishna and those who remind of Krishna, they are not different. Right? When we stay with devotees, when we sit with devotees, they will remind us Krishna. Isn't it? Yes or no? Yes or no? But many times, we get to associate with devotees who doesn't remind us of Krishna. They remind us of something else. Right? Again, we can put tilak, we can wear dhoti, we can have sikha, but then we are not devotees. Right? See, Krishna is very clever. He's saying at the end of chapter 9, Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, at the end he's saying, Manmana Bhagavan Bhakto Madhyajamam Namaskuru. He's asking, he's demanding, think about me 24 hours. Give me your mind. Right? And then be my devotee. You do namaskar, you worship me and you do dandavat to me. If you do that, you'll come back to me. No? Isn't it? So Krishna is asking the mind. What is he asking? The mind. He said manmana. He didn't say tantana. Right? Tan means the body. He's not asking body because he knows to give body to Krishna is so easy. See, I put tilak, sikha and then dhoti. So easy. I'm devotee. Is it so? I may look like devotee, but I'm not a devotee. Devotee is that person who gives his mind completely to Krishna, which is very difficult. Right? Which is very difficult. It's been 21 years, I'm trying to give my mind to Krishna. It's pretty not possible. I've given my body far long time back. It was so easy. Right? But to give the mind is like very difficult. Right? So, when we deal with the mind, right, then the devotees become very handy. Now we might associate with devotees who looks like devotee. But from inside, from the mental level, they are not devotees. So we have to be careful with that. No, I can see, I don't know about like ISKCON Adelaide, but in ISKCON Kathmandu, we have like many places, special places, where devotees would come together, sit down and chat for hours and hours and hours and hours. And none of the chats are about Krishna. They are backbitings. They are like nonsense. They are all prajalpa, gramya katha. Gramya katha means all those things which are like going around. That devotee bought like motorbike, which is better than that devotee. I just got a news from Australia, devotees are having nice time. I think we should go to Australia. Right? And only those devotees who are in Australia, they know how difficult it is to become Krishna conscious here. Right? These are like Gramya Katha, these are prajalpas. So even though we seem to be with devotees, be careful. They may not be devotees. So what are we supposed to do? Completely cut off the association? I don't want to see your face, I don't want to talk to you. Is that what we're supposed to do? No. We all come with like two parts. One's Krishna conscious part and another is self-conscious part. The whole war is between these two things, right? Krishna conscious and self-conscious. Nothing else. It's so simple. Just be Krishna conscious, the game is over. But then no, we have got this self-conscious part. Right? So we have like so many ideas that how we are important, and we have got so many understanding that how Krishna is important. Right? So when we associate with any devotee, we are supposed to see, just take the part where he is strong with Krishna consciousness, and not take the part which is self-conscious. Rather, we should try to help that devotee in that part where he is self-conscious, or she is self-conscious. Right? This is how the association is done. And the 6 things which are like Rupa Goswami is saying, very important for associations are Dadati Pratiganati, Guhyam Akhyati Prechati, Bhongte Bhojeti. These are the 6 things he is talking about. He's saying, right, Dadati Pratiganati means like you have to gift devotees, give some gifts. Give them some surprises, Prabhu, I brought this for you. Honey from this place, honey from that. Of course, like in Australia, you cannot bring honey from outside. Right? But you can bring so many things. And then in exchange, this devotee should also give something to that devotee. So exchange of like taking and giving should happen. Right? And the second thing he's talking about is, Guyam Akhyati Prechati means you have to share your heart with the devotee. And also listen to the heart of other devotee. Of course, you have to choose whom to share and whom not to share. Be careful. Whatever you share might be in social media next morning. You have to be very careful with whom you're sharing. Right? So, sharing your heart and then listening to others' heart. But many times I've also found like devotees who would like to share their heart, but then who would not want to listen to others, Oh Prabhu, if I listen to your nonsense, I'll become non-devotee, Bye-bye. Right? That's also like self-centeredness is also there. But then of course, yes, we also need to know our level, know our like ability, whether I should listen or not. And many times if I hear something from devotee, somebody's heart, and then I'm not capable of like taking those like information, we should immediately go and tell our authority, our seniors, and express that, so and so devotee. Only to the senior, only to the authority, not to somebody who is on your side. Right? So when we share any information about other devotee, right? Of course, first without the permission of that person, of that devotee, and when a person whom you are going to share is not qualified, that's again prajapa. That's again like devotee offense. Right? So you have to be very careful. And the third pair of things Rupa Goswami is talking about is bhongte bhojete. Means you have to feed and you have to eat from, that devotee. So devotees, they have a culture of calling some devotee at the home or somewhere and feeding them. And in return also go to their home and then eat some prasad. These are the 6 things you're supposed to associate. What we do for association. Yeah, so association with devotee is very powerful. We always like hear this sloka, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi. Like we can hear, we can see in scripture like so many stories from Narad Muni. Right? So many devotees got the association of Narad Muni for just for a while, and then they become pure devotee, like Prahlad Maharaj. Right? Prahlad Maharaj was given association in his childhood, and he becomes a pure devotee. Dhruva Maharaj, another example. Right? Narad Muni goes to the jungle, and then he just tells him, okay, just like chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and do some like Ashtanga Yoga, and go to Madhuban. That's all Narad Muni said, and he did it, and in the next 6 months, he could take the darshan of Chirudachai Vishnu. Right? Then we have another example of Valmiki. He was Ratnakar Daku. He was a dacoit. Right? Ratnakar. So much bad he was. Right? Then Narad Muni goes to him and say, okay, Lord Ram is going to come, so chant his name. Ram, 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 Ram. He couldn't say Ram. Then he had to twist it. No? Narad Muni say, okay, can you say Mara? Oh, Mara, I can say, that's my business, Marna, to kill it. Okay, Mara, 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 Mara. Then eventually becomes Ram, 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 right? And then finally it becomes Valmiki. Ratnakar Daku becomes Valmiki. Another example is Mrigari. Right? Mrigari is like half killing the animals, and living them. And that Mrigari gets the association of Narad Muni and becomes pure. Another example is like another thief. who used to still kill people and steal their like opulences, and then goes and gives to his family. Right? I think that was like Ratnakar Thakur, yeah. Ratnakar, Valmiki. Right? So like that, I mean, when we have the devotee association, when we have the association of a pure devotee, we also get induced, right, by the pureness of that devotee. Now devotees, when we say pure devotees, I found in 3 places the definition of pure devotees. Right? The first definition of pure devotee is Uttamadhikari, one who has already realized Krishna, one who has already seen Krishna. That is Uttamadhikari. Right? That is the definition of pure devotee. Second definition I found is Uttama Madhyama, one who is about to become Uttama. That means one who is in the level of Ruchi. That devotee is also considered pure devotee, because eventually that devotee is going to become pure. And the third example of pure devotee I found is, somebody in Kanishta level, one who is a beginner, practicing devotee, but then one who has immense desire to become pure and endeavoring with all efforts to become pure. Right? That's also considered pure devotee. Or else, like when we only know one definition of pure devotee, that is Uttamadhikari, well, in ISKCON we'll find Uttamadhikari. So you look around, not convinced. Right? So like that. I mean, so of course, like Prabhupada said, one who is dirty, but he has already started like taking shower, started to clean his body, you cannot call that person dirty. No, you have to consider that person clean, because eventually, even in next moment, after few moments, that person is going to be clean. Right? So we can see so many devotees around who are in Kanishta level, who are in Madhyama level, but who are like endeavoring to the fullest to become pure devotee and serve in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So we need to associate with such devotees, actually. Right? Yeah, so basically, associating with devotee means somehow trying to go towards Krishna. So when we talk about trying to go towards Krishna, it is called Guru Tattva. Right? So Guru Tattva means, right, that truth about attraction, which is always pulling us towards Krishna. Right? So when that tattva, when that like truth is working, we are always being dragged towards or attracted, pulled towards Krishna. So there can be many things which is trying to take us towards Krishna. It can be object, it can be person, yeah? And it can be anything. Anything which inspires us, right, which takes us towards Krishna is Guru Tattva. Right? And then whoever is possessing that Guru Tattva is called Guru. Right? And many times it's like a person for us, but sometimes it can be something else as well. We can associate with a thing and then become Krishna conscious. We can associate with animals and become Krishna conscious. One of the famous story about Kadamba Kanana Maharaj. Now, how many of you have heard how he became devotee? Right? So, of course, I got the opportunity to associate with him when I was doing Bhakti Sastri. He was teaching us nectar of devotion. It's my fortune that I got to be with him for quite a long time. And at that time I asked him, Maharaj, I heard your story about dog. Dog helped you to become Krishna conscious. Is that true? Oh yes, absolutely true, And then he told me the story again. Maharaj had a girlfriend before Krishna conscious, right? And Maharaj was not materialistically active person. He was lazy. He was always like thinking, why should I work? I should get free food. He was like thinking like that. So what he used to do, he had a girlfriend. She used to earn, and he used to stay home, and she used to feed him. Right? And all he had to do is one thing, to take care of the dog. of a girlfriend. But interestingly, the name of the dog was Krishna. Somehow the girlfriend found somewhere, like named Krishna, and she liked it, and then her best was the dog, and then she put the name of the dog, Krishna. So Kadam Kanun Maharaj, all he had to do is feed Krishna. Right? So one day, as the girlfriend was going out of the apartment, she forgot to completely lock the door. And Maharaj was watching TV, sitting in sofa, and after a while he remembers, I have to feed Krishna. Right? And then he wakes up and he stands up and then looks around, Krishna, Krishna, where's Krishna? There's no Krishna. Krishna sneaked out. And I goes like outside in the corridor, hey Krishna, Krishna, where are you, Krishna? There's no Krishna. So he went down, he climbed down, and then asked the guards, hey guys, did you see a dog? Did you see a dog? Like, yeah, we saw one dog running out of this building. The dog is on the street. If I don't find the dog, I'll not get food. Right? Mm-hmm. Dog equals the food for him. If I don't find the dog, I'll not get the food. So he started like running around like a crazy person on the street of Amsterdam. Can you imagine? Krishna! 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 He was like going. And from the other side of the street, there were like devotees coming, Hare Krishna! So one of the devotees who was distributing the book a little ahead saw this Maharaj, wearing karmi dress, not looking like devotee at all, and screaming, Krishna, Krishna. Then this devotee thought, pure devotee. in the midst of like Amsterdam, somebody who doesn't look like devotee at all, screaming Krishna and running around. Searching for Krishna. So he ran and hugged Maharaj, pure devotee. So Maharaj was surprised. Right? And he said, are you looking for Krishna? I said, yeah, I'm looking for Krishna. Wow, I found Krishna. And the devotee says, I know where Krishna is. Oh my God, good grace, please take me to Krishna. So this devotee takes Maharaj to the temple. And Maharaj going around, and devotee is saying, this is Krishna. And Maharaj goes, what is the dog? and that devotee said, no, this is not dog, this is God. And then he said, oh, you're looking for the dog? He said, my dog's name is Krishna. Oh, I thought you were pure devotee. So then that devotee angrily left. He was very upset. He thought like he found pure devotee, but then he was upset, he left. Then Maharaj started looking at Radha and Krishna. And when you see Radha and Krishna, anybody sees them beautiful, right? Beautiful. So Maharaj was looking at them. Wow, who are they? So he called one devotee, asked, who are they? This Radha, this is Krishna, a little bit lila about them, Maharaj heard. But at the back of the head, he was thinking, food, food. So then he asked, I'm hungry, is there any food? Can I get some food? No problem, come, we have prasadam. And devotees are always like happy to feed prasad, right? And the devotee was feeding, and Maharaj asked, how much is the food? He said, free. He said, free? If I can get free prasadam here, I don't have to go back to serve my girlfriend. And she's not going to accept me anyway because the dog Krishna is gone. So Maharaj, after eating prasadam, full stomach, he said, can I stay here? Why not? No problem. So he started staying in the temple. Yeah, after a few days, the head got shaved. Tilak came up. After a few months, he started going Harinam, Hare Krishna, right? Understanding the real Krishna from the fake Krishna, dog Krishna. Right? And then, of course, like later on, he also meets his girlfriend's mother. Hey, where have you been, son? My daughter is, searching for you. And then he thought, if I recognize this old lady, I have to go back and start this girlfriend. He says, who are you? Yeah. Oh, you forgot my daughter, and they said, you're searching someone for your daughter? No, you are my daughter's boyfriend and this and that. Does your daughter's boyfriend, he has tilak? Is he shaved head? Does he wear dhoti? No, I'm not that person. So you'll not go back. You will not go back. Right? So what I'm trying to say is, the dog acted as Guru Tattva for Maharaj. Right? So when this happens, when anybody who takes you towards Krishna, those people, those objects are very, very important. It's called Guru Tattva. So each time we have to check whether by coming to ISKCON, coming to Krishna, coming to devotees, sitting with this devotee, associating with this devotee, am I being like pulled towards Krishna or not? Right? If I am pulled towards Krishna, if that devotee, if the person I'm associating with is inducing me, somehow like convincing me to go towards Krishna, that's a real association. Or else it's not. Or else it's not. Right? So, of course, like there are 9 levels of devotion. I was thinking of talking about like Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama, but I think I'll stop here today and go for question and answer. If you have any questions, I'll try to try my best to answer about this situation. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the class.
Thank you.
And it's very interesting when you talk of devotees. Like you share like we're different categories, but there are people from other religions who practice their religions very religiously, very kind people. Are they to be considered devotees who talk about God but not necessarily Krishna? But they don't deny that, okay, Krishna is your God, our God is different. And still they're very good people. Is it okay to still associate with them for whatever purpose, work, social, society, for those purposes?
Mm-hmm. Well, you're asking a very difficult question. You want right answer or flowery answer? Yeah, so I also did like a little study on this, whether we should associate or consider like the people from other section who believe in God, but then they have different name or different process of practicing that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very open personality. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, in Kali Yuga, you're supposed to take the name of the God. And God can be anybody whom you believe. And one of the best examples would be for us, ISKCON devotees, who is Krishna-centric, right? Murari Gupta. Right? So Murari Gupta was also like given this instruction, like others, to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But when Murari Gupta started chanting, his chanting would go like Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Ram. Hey. What happened? Again, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. As soon as there is Ram coming, he will get stuck on that. He tried many times, but then when he failed, he felt like, this is not good. I've accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as my guru and I'm not following his instructions properly. I cannot even chant. Let me die. So he wanted to jump in Ganga and kill himself. So as he was about to jump from behind Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being Paramatma, catches him. Hey, Murari Gupta, what are you doing? Let me kill myself. I'm useless. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't worry, I know. You are Ram Bhakta, you are the incarnation of Hanuman. That is very natural for you to be chanting the name of Ram. So for you, chant the name of Ram. Right? So then if you go to Mayapur now, Murari Gupta's, ashram, place, Badi. Fine. Right? So then you can see Sita Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. Deities are there, like worshipped. Right? So likewise, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very open. Very open, like even Prabhupada mentioned it many times. They were like followers of Christianity, the father, they would come to ISKCON and then they would chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But then the uniform, the cloth they were wearing was like, like father, So one devotee said, you should stop you should stop wearing this, you should wear dhoti, you should put tilak, So then, very, very feeling odd, awkward, he goes to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, is it true that I have to, give up this thing because, this is my, like livelihood, this is my lifestyle, I worship like Jesus, but then I chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds. And Prabhupada said, no need. Prabhupada said, you remain pure Christian and just chant Hare Krishna. That's required. So many times we forget what is Krishna consciousness. It's about consciousness. Chaitanya. It's about consciousness. And many times we would understand Krishna consciousness as a ritual. Right? And many times we would mix it with even Vedic principles, forgetting that bhakti is higher than dharma. Far superior than dharma. Bhakti is far superior than dharma. So many times we think like, this is such a universal religion to be connected with God, but then we become so, like it becomes like a sect, where we are only like, we are becoming fanatic, like only this is correct. And also like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I think chapter 8, that whoever is worshipping demigods, don't disturb them. Don't disturb their faith. Allow them. By worshipping demigods, they are indirectly worshipping me. Eventually they'll come to me. Right? So of course, like we are supposed to help them in many ways. Right? But then of course, like we should also like understand our like Krishna consciousness process, which is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right, so I think rather than, if you find anybody else, rather than taking the association, I think you should give association. Maybe in the form of prasad or something else. But we're supposed to be good to them. And with bhakti there is another thing called sukriti. Have you heard of sukriti? Right? Now, sukriti is like a spiritual punya. It's called something like punya, but completely spiritual, which is going to help us get bhakti. Right? Now, for example, I was walking at the airport in Bangkok with Kavi Chandra Maharaj. And there was this Arabian guy with the Arabian robe, he came. He was passing by and Maharaj looked at him and said, Salam alaikum. And first of all, like he became like shocked. From a Hindu-looking person, this Salam alaikum is coming. He looked from top and down. And then he smiled. He said, Malikum as-salam, and then left. So I was like watching that, and then as he left, I asked Maharaj, we're supposed to say Hare Krishna, no? We're supposed to say Hare Krishna. But you said Salam Alaikum. And Maharaj said, if I would have said Hare Krishna to him, he would stare at me, he will hate me, and he will go. And Sukriti is not created. But as I said, Salam Alaikum, he smiled at me, he had now good faith towards a devotee, that is already creating Sukriti for him. So means many times when we are preaching, actually we're doing anti-preaching. Right? We have to be very careful with that. Anti-preaching means we think that we are giving Hare Krishna, but then that person is beginning, I don't like it, I don't like it. I don't like the way you do, So it can be like that. So we have to be very careful that what should we do or what shouldn't we do which will create sukriti to that person, at least. If possible, allow bhakti. So Krishna consciousness is a bit tricky, a bit sublime to understand. It's pretty difficult to understand. That's why, in many places, in ISKCON, the proper preaching is not happening. which was happening in Srila Prabhupada's time, it is not happening. Because we are little baby, you know, more baby. Right? So like that, dharmic. Okay, thank you, Matas. Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for coming to us.
Hare Krishna.
First, my question is around the devotee, like a true devotee who has been spending their whole life on devotion to Krishna. Why do that person still suffer?
Still suffer.
Still suffer.
What is the problem in suffering?
I mean, he didn't get what he wants, or like he wants to see the Krishna, let's say, or you know.
It's very interesting when we hear the prayers of Queen Kunti. Right? Did everyone hear what he said? No, oh, sorry. He's asking when devotees are purely serving Krishna, right? And why that devotee still suffers, right? That's the question, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, first of all, we have got a very wrong understanding about life. Very wrong understanding about life. Life is a combination of happiness and suffering, right? Even suffering is a very natural part of life. But then we've been taught by our maybe parents or society or somebody that suffering is bad. No, suffering is part of life. And who decides that whether I will suffer or I'll remain happy? Me. Right? If I do sukarma, I'll always remain happy. If I do bikarma, I'll always remain suffering. Right? So it's my act is giving me the consequences of happiness and suffering. So both happiness and suffering is part of life. But then we have been taught like suffering is bad. For example, bitter taste. Is it good or bad? So generally, to the kids, do we give the bitter taste from the beginning of life? Do we? Generally we give sweet taste. Oh, this is so good tasting, it's sweet. Right? And then when you give bitter, it's not the food to eat, something like that. We experimented in Nepal. You know, one of my close relatives, he had 2 kids, and we started giving bitter taste from the childhood, when they were 6 months old. Right? So little by little, we were giving them, and by the age of 2, they were addicted to bitter taste. Right? So what I'm trying to say is, like, it depends entirely up to the parents or the guardians or the teachers to teach that suffering is part of life. That's number 1. Right? And number 2, Krishna has nothing to do with our sufferings. You know, Krishna, like I said earlier, Krishna is not interested in our body. He's interested in our mind. Right? Now, I can give you an example, very good example of Vishmadev. Right? When Vishmadev got shot with arrows, whole body was pierced with arrows. Right? Arjuna shot him and then boom, he falls down to the ground. And for many days, I think for about a month or more, up to Maghi Sagranti, you know, like he was there, lying down there. And Krishna would come every day, almost every day to meet him. And Krishna, not even once, asked him, Vishmadev, how are you? Is it painful? Should I put some ointments? Or take these arrows out? He never asked. Or should I take you to hospital? Emergency? Like, he never asked. You know, Krishna doesn't care in the bodily level. He doesn't. Because this body is anyway destructive. Anyway. This body in any way is designed to suffer. Right? Designed to suffer in any way. So even Krishna wants or Krishna doesn't want, this body is like going to perish. So Krishna is not interested in our body. But Krishna is very much interested in our consciousness. That's why Prabhupada named the organization International Society for Krishna Consciousness, nothing else. Right? So Krishna is very much concerned about the consciousness. So suffering is your part, my part. Right? And then we can see pure devotees dying out of cancer, accidents. Okay? It's not a problem. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. You have any other questions?
Sorry, it's a short question. I'm Adelaide and Prasadam is next. Now, why should we have God realization?
Why?
Why?
Why should we?
Yeah, like everyone. What is the importance of realizing God?
What?
If we don't realize God?
Okay, what is the importance of realizing God? Right? And why nothing else? What else should I realize? Okay, I was checking the dictionary and trying to find out what is the meaning of realization. Very interesting. I found two things. One is called realization, the other is called reflection. Now, reflection is the understanding of life based on our experiences, past experiences. We go through certain experiences and we have certain understanding of situation, person, place, or whatever. That's called reflection. Right? So all my past experiences will make me ready for the next move I'll make. Right? And that's called reflection. Realization is something different. Realization is the feeling which is already inside, deep inside, must be in the level of soul, Atma. It's very, very deep inside, and when you are able to go inside and revive it, that's called realization. Right? So when we say God realization, God is not an external thing. God is within the heart. I think God is the deepest aspect of the existence we can experience. As soon as we become self-realized, means we become soul-realized, the next thing we will see is Paramatma, God. So God realization is so natural. It's not an artificial, external thing which is imposed in us. It's a natural thing which is coming from inside. And that inside, the thing is present in everybody. It's not like I became an engineer, you're not. Right? It's not like that. Sri Sri Radha Syam Sundar ki jai, Sri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki jai. Right? So God realization means to realize somebody who is already inside, who is present in everyone's heart. You may believe or you may not, but He's there. Right? It's just a matter of time when we will realize God. So sooner the better. Right? So even we go to the hospital sometimes, right? Our relatives become sick, and doctors they try all possible ways to cure. And when they cannot do it, see guys, we did everything we could do. Now rest is up to God. Now if rest is up to God, if that thing we have to hear at the end, why not we start from the beginning? It's better, isn't it? Right? For me also, like I became an engineer, but then I realized that's nothing. I did business, that's nothing. I was enjoying life, that's nothing. Right? But when I found God realization, it's everything. So everything changed. To realize God to the fullest, it takes time. But even a glimpse of Him, even slightest feeling of God is so overwhelming, so interesting, that all the external enjoyment in life is nothing in front of that. So I'm waiting what will happen when we see God. Like when Dhruva Maharaj saw God for the first time, he goes like, he became speechless. He almost fainted. He didn't know. What is this feeling? Of course, then Vishnu said, "What do you want? I'm here to give you whatever you want." Right? And then he said no, I don't want anything. Right? And Vishnu says, "No, I know what you want. You came here to ask me the kingdom which is better than your grandfather's." And who is his grandfather? Brahmaji. Right? Better than Brahmaji's kingdom. Now Brahmaji's kingdom is the whole universe. He wanted something better than the universe. And better than the universe is just one thing. Vaikuntha. Right? Vaikuntha. And then Vishnu says, okay, I'm going to give you my planet, Vaikuntha, which we call Dhruva star, no? North star. I'm going to give you. Isn't it? And then Dhruva Maharaj says, oh, no, please, no need. No, I didn't realize that, I'm supposed to search for the diamond. But what I was searching for was the pieces of glasses. Pieces of glass I was searching for. Means that kingdom which is like Vaikuntha, now becomes like a piece of glass in front of God, who is diamond. Right? So when we realize God, realize God, who is inside, then nothing else matters, nothing else makes sense. Now, you may deny, anybody may deny, but then try for yourself. I've tried and realized nothing else matters. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here then. Would you like us? Okay. One from young Mataji.
He wants to know why the color of Krishna is blue.
That we have to ask with Krishna himself. Why he chose to be blue. God has desire. He also has a desire, he also has choices. But there are many interpretations. Some say one of the biggest thing in creation is sky. Sky is blue, that's why it's blue, to show his completeness. But Prabhupada would say that because Krishna wants to be blue. It's his desire.
He's black too. Yeah.
Yeah, you can call him black.
Yeah, Sam.
And Ram is green, Radha is red, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is golden. Why? I don't think there is any logic behind it. No, we can give all reasons for that, and then we can be happy with that. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. ISKCON Adelaide ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much,
Adelaide, one of the finest places in Australia. Very peaceful, nice. I didn't see it.
Thank you.
You are all in Australia. Nepal country is here. Quite important. Chittai bajega. 40 वर्ष
Hare Krishna.
नेपाली आउँछ सिक्नु पर्छ ल
हरे कृष्ण भन्दै
Kirtan Adelaide. Leave a like and subscribe.